When you look at the true lumen, it over time goes up in size. The false lumen gets smaller, so that's that dynamic we talked about in terms of remodeling. And for patients that had no infrarenal component to it, which is a smaller percentage but ideal, what happens is that infrarenal aorta remains the same or goes down. And this is a preliminary paper. Many of these folks were ISCVS members that participated. There were several what we call physician-sponsored IDEs in the United States that looked at this, and this is that 10 to 12% mortality rate I mentioned to you, and then there were commercial studies that went on, and this was used as a control. So the malperfusion really then tripped what was treatment of other entities. Before we finish, then we'll talk about the chronic dissections, which is more challenging, and it's usually these patients that are out a period of time. Some people say beyond 14 days, some less than 30. The numbers have moved around, but it's an interval that's short after that period of time when it becomes chronic and the septum is not as mobile. And in that category, these other things, persistent pain, uncontrolled hypertension, or what we call failure of medical management, or even asymptomatic, becomes involved. And when you look at this, these are numbers that we created looking at our chronic dissections. Again, when you put in the device, the true lumen goes up, the false lumen comes down on the bottom. But the other thing that happens is that in the infrarenal segment, where it dissects into the infrarenal aorta, that infrarenal aortic segment in the chronics tends to get bigger, and that's a problematic issue then that we're all dealing with. What do you do with that enlarging smaller thing?